Who won the debate? Oh my goodness. So when it comes to the VP debate, I saw the debate with millions of other people, right? Now, when it comes to the debate, I thought it was a bit lackluster, right? I don't think there was any huge moment. I don't think it was a decisive victory for Waltz or Vance. Now, for me personally, I think Waltz won the debate hands down. I think anyone who's trying to say that Vance won the debate or he crushed it or whatever, I think they're delusional, okay? I think they're very much delusional. But by that same metric that I would say that Waltz won the debate, I would say that he actually lost the debate as well. Because let's go over a few things. I think Waltz had very good moments, especially when it came to the gun talk. Vance talking about, hey, let's just up the security. Let's get doors that lock properly.
But I unfortunately think that we have to increase security in our schools. We have to make the doors lock better. We have to make the doors stronger.
I think you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, okay? That's what I think. I would think that if you're a parent and someone is telling you, hey, let's get doors that lock properly, or let's have, up the security to the school, then I don't see any parent who wants their child to go to a prison. I don't see that to be the case. I don't know any parent who would feel safe having their child going to a makeshift prison. Because what they're trying to say is that is the only option. The only choice is to have, boosted security to where it's a prison, or your child may not come back home. And I feel that choice is so binary. It's a false choice. That's what that is. And I think anyone who offers a different choice other than that is going to win. Is going to win that argument, because no parent is going to be like, yeah, let's send my child to Guantanamo Bay. Absolutely. Because if you think about it, then you had people talking about, well, let's give the teachers guns and stuff. I'm like, hold up. Let's take a moment here. You mean the teachers that are already doing hanky panky with the students? You want to arm them at the school? That's what you want to do? Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm not really having that. I don't want the teacher, to go to class and be like, take off your pants, Deshaun, take it off. I think Waltz did very well with that decision. Him telling, I'm a gun owner as well, but I think there's another way. Okay, I think there's, whether it's, red flag laws. And I think it was very crucial, because one thing that the Republicans love to do is blame mental health. Every single time something happens, it's mental health. And he did the same exact thing here on the stage. Is Vance mentioned mental health, but then didn't mention anything that he was going to do for mental health.
Okay, first of all, we have way higher rates of mental health abuse, or mental health substance abuse. We have way higher rates of depression, way higher rates of anxiety. We unfortunately have a mental health crisis in this country that I really do think that we need to get to the root causes of, because I don't think it's the whole reason why we have such a bad gun violence problem, but I do think it's a big piece of it.
So it's very much, hey, we're going to blame you, but we're not going to do anything to help you. And I think that is a reoccurring theme in the Republican Party, especially when it comes to black people. Constantly want to castigate and, deride us for this crime, this, but then don't offer any solutions. So it's like, okay, you see that there's a problem, but you're not going to do anything. All right, so you just want to criticize and lambaste us. All right, got you. I think when Waltz said, hey, we don't want to stigmatize mental health.
But I want to be very careful. This idea of stigmatizing mental health, just because you have a mental health issue doesn't mean you're violent. And I think what we end up doing is we start looking for a scapegoat. Sometimes it just is the guns. I
think that hit home. I think that resonated with a lot of people, because you do not want to stigmatize people who may just, they were possibly born like that, or they either had trauma, right? You don't want to stigmatize people who may have mental health issues, okay? Because I would say that's a good chunk of the country is on some form of antidepressants or therapy, and you don't want to dissuade people from therapy that can actually help them and get their head right. So I think even if you are going through, you may have mental health problems, that doesn't preclude you from having a firearm, right? Because not every mental health person is violent. And by Waltz saying that, man, it was just like, okay, this guy is way better than this guy. This guy seems to be outdated, caveman mentality. Would just have more security, right? And it's very much the mindset of the Republican Party, unfortunately, under Trump, where you're having a boat and there's a hole in the boat. And the whole Republican Party's idea is we'll just get a bigger bucket. We're going to get a bigger bucket and get the water out of the boat. Where it's like, okay, how about we patch up the hole in the boat, right? So I thought he blew that out of the water. When it came to, Vance talking about, wait, I thought you guys weren't going to fact check me. Bruh, if that's not the craziest thing to say in a debate, I don't know what is.
Margaret, the rules were that you guys weren't going to fact check.
I don't know how people can watch the debate, have one person say, wait, I thought you guys weren't going to fact check me here. I thought, like, what? So you were riding on the fact that you would go under the radar with your lies and disinformation? That was your game plan? And it goes back to the Haitians. It always goes back to the Haitians with J.D. Vance. I don't know what it is. But the lady was like, hey, many of the Haitians in Springfield were legal. Okay, so I don't know what you're talking about. And, J.D. Vance talks about, this app. And it's like, okay, does the app break the law? Does the app do anything unconstitutional? I don't understand. Or does it streamline the process? Like, I don't understand. Are you upset that it's more effective? What was the argument here? I will say that when it came to Waltz on him lying about his service record, that was a complete catastrophe. This man was mush mouth. There was awkward pauses in his answer where he was just like, well, I'm a knucklehead and.
You said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, well, and to the folks out there who didn't get at the top of this, look, I grew up in small rural Nebraska, town of 400. I've tried to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect, and I'm a knucklehead at times.
It's like, bro, that's not really that's not really a good answer. Okay, do you lie about your service? I'm just letting you know. However, I will say I find it very interesting that they questioned, Waltz about his comments on, him being untruthful in his service record, but didn't have that same energy for Vance on the litany of stuff he said, whether it came to the cats and dogs, whether it came to him talking about, people without children should be taxed more. There's a litany of stuff that they could have had him, respond to. And they didn't do that. So I find it interesting when, Republicans want to say, oh, the moderators were disgraceful. And I'm like, they really got into Waltz pretty hard, more harshly than Vance, in my opinion. Overall, right, the true definition of who to pick, who would be worthy of the presidential office, boiled down to one question. Did Donald Trump lose the election?
Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
And the fact that Vance couldn't answer the question, the fact that Vance deflected, tells you all that you need to know. I think that right there, for any American with an IQ above room temperature, and I know there's not many of us out there, but for all of us, that was disqualification. You're disqualified right there, because what that goes to show me is that you're going to be an agent of chaos just like Donald Trump is. And that chaos is going to lead to death and turmoil. That's what that's going to lead to. That's what it has led to. All right. The fact that Trump would talk about Ashley Babbitt when he was the reason that she was there in the first place is asinine. It's such just no responsibility, none whatsoever. No accountability. And it's like, how do you put that person back into the Oval Office? How do you do that? I don't know, man. For me, that was like, all right, we're done. That's it. Game over. Waltz wins. End of story. As I said before that he was a winner and a loser, what I mean by Waltz being a loser is that he didn't do his job. And his job, was to hold Vance accountable. That's what his job was to do. His job was to hold Vance accountable and Trump accountable. And he didn't do that. And what I mean by that is that what he made Vance do was actually look good. All right. They seem like two civil, normal, reasonable adults. That's what it seemed like, where they just had a difference of opinion of where the country should go. But if that was true, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But that's not true. That's not true whatsoever. Vance constantly still talking about Haitians are eating cats and dogs. Waltz should have laid into that. We're talking about, hey, these people are living in fear, where you have people who are living in fear that have been in this country for quite some time, where they are legal residents and they are being stereotyped, racially stereotyped, maligned by lies. And that the person who told you that ended up finding their cat in the basement. So it's a lie, and yet you still promote it. The litany of harm that Vance, in tandem with Trump have done, like, he just let him off the hook. I was just like, what? How do you let this man off the hook? I just don't understand that. When it came to the gun violence, whatever, how do you let him off the hook? Talking about it's just a way of life and stuff like that. Just so flippantly, dismissing, people perishing unnecessarily. How do you let him off the hook? And I think that is the problem with Waltz. He said he's too nice. All right, he's too nice. It would be tantamount you debating Hitler and y'all just, I think his future for Germany is a little bit different from mine. Some of his policies I agree with. But overall, I think that's where we fundamentally disagree. And that is going to be on the right of the Jewish people or yada, 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 right? That's not how you would debate freaking Hitler. That's not what you would do. The fact that they overlooked as far as his stances on abortion. Okay, the fact that he overlooked his stances on, on a family. Hey, like I said before, raising taxes on people who don't have children. A litany of things that I would argue that an independent would see as ludicrous. That would completely just off-put them from Vance and Trump. And I don't think he hit those points hard enough. I don't think he did that. I think, if anything, Waltz won, but it was by a whisker. Okay, it was by a whisker. I don't think it was a blowout, but I think Vance is just incompetent in many of his answers. And I think what really, sealed the deal was definitely him saying, not being able to admit that Trump lost the election. That goes to show that despite how reasonable you may sound throughout this debate, that actually you're a wolf in sheep's clothing. That actually, oh, that's right, this guy is crazy, right? I think that was the moment where people just had, smelling salts, where it's like, oh, well, Vance, maybe he's not, I don't agree with him on that, but he doesn't seem too bad. And then when he said he couldn't answer the question, it was like, oh, that's right. These people are crazy. That's right. Trump was the one that did January 6th and everything. And his response to January 6th, the fact that Waltz let him freaking, whitewash January 6th without going into him, getting into him, is beyond me. And I think, that's just who Waltz is, right? I believe he said he wasn't the best debater, but I think it's just that cordial niceness of, we have a difference of opinion, and I agree with a lot of stuff he says is good, and he agrees with a lot of stuff. We just think, and that's not the case here, bro. That's not the case here at all. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe Lucas Lewis, you're crazy, all right? You've gone complete libtard, all right? Vance completely stole the show. He destroyed Waltz in every way. Or if you believe, no, you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I think Waltz did exceptionally well. Not as well as I'd like, but he did exceptionally well. And Vance looked like a complete nincompoop. Nevertheless, if you happen to disagree, you know where to find me. Friday through Sunday, Disagreement Day. Call in, we'll duke it out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, let me know what you guys think, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys. Be amazing.
Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.